Welcome in to the back half of our doubleheader quarterfinal AHAI action here from the Rosemont Ice Arena. My name's Aaron Schellen, my broadcast crew tonight. I've got Matt Donnelly doing color to my right. I have Bob Mariner running camera to my left, and it's the 1 versus the 9 as the BGHW Stampede take on the Libertyville IceCats for a shot to go to the semifinals tomorrow night, where they will take on the Plainfield Predators, the 5 seed, and the Predators, Matt, really impressive in that 5 versus 4 matchup against Prep Hockey. A 7-3 win, a game that saw Plainfield jump out to a 4-0 first period lead, a running clock in the third period before Prep was able to get a couple of goals to make it look a little bit closer. But for 2 periods, the Plainfield Predators absolutely dominated that hockey game.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that I would say would be their downfall a little bit in that game would have been the fact that that third period was kind of lax on their part. They let Prep get back into that game, but establishing really early on the momentum dictated their way, they were able to do what they wanted.
BGHW as the number 1 seed looking to take down the number 9 seed IceCats and advance. The Stampede 18-4 in the IL North Central League this year, finished in second behind Prep, while the IceCats finished 8-13-1 in 9th place in the North Central Division. They played a couple of times during the regular season, both of those games going to BGHW 4-1 and 6-1. So these 2 teams will play to determine who gets to continue on tomorrow, with a chance to play at All-State on March 6th. Buffalo Grove, BGHW took down D203 8-1 on Sunday, February 22nd, while the IceCats upset the number 8 seed Rockford 5-3. That was a couple of weeks ago. They played that game on Valentine's Day. So the IceCats haven't played a game here in a couple of weeks. I'm sure they had their conference tournament in there, so that's not entirely accurate, but they haven't played a conference tournament game in a couple of weeks, and we're ready to go. IceCats, I wasn't expecting these jerseys. I like them, though. The blue jerseys with the orange numbers, piped in white with cats diagonal down the front, while BGHW looking like the Vegas Golden Knights with the gray and black and gold. And it looks like for BGHW, it'll be Ronan Alanese. Alanese, 12 games on the season, a 1.66 goals against, a 923 save percentage. And for the IceCats, it'll be Carter Anderson, who has played every minute of every game this year for the IceCats. 22 games, 8-11-1, 2.5 goals against, save percentage at 90%. And if you're Libertyville, I think the key is, or the strategy, you take a page out of what Plainfield did and throw the puck towards the goal early, see if you can get a fortunate bounce past the goaltender, take a lead, play with a lead. I think that's probably the formula for the IceCats here. And if you're BGHW, 18-4 during the regular season, do what got you here, right? This is a Stampede team that scores a lot of goals, led by Cameron Christopher, 22 goals, 22 assists, 44 points in 22 games, along named an all-state performer. So somebody that scores a bunch, and if you're BGHW, that's what you're looking to do. Get on the board early, put the pressure on this Libertyville team, and not give them any thoughts of the upset here this evening.
Right, and that's all you can ask for if you're a Libertyville here in this game is, BGHW is not going to be used to playing from a multi-goal deficit, and if we can, like you said, take a page from the previous game, if you can put the pressure on and put them in a situation they haven't been in regularly, they could be a completely different team you're playing against.
Try to take a lead, try to make them play from behind and see how they do there as Costanza gets knocked down from behind by Sabir Leave right out of the chute. We saw a lot of physical play in that first game, and a 4-on-2 for Libertyville. Here's Schkapp. Schkapp in between the circles, and Alanese makes the save. This is the one team in this doubleheader today that I have seen this season. I saw this Stampede team out in Lake Forest earlier this year in a non-conference game. Draw will come to the right of Alanese. It's won by the Stampede. Cullen Jones hammers it off the wall. Pushed around Michael Mazza for the IceCats.
And we've seen throughout the games that we've done together, Aaron, the importance of good goaltending, and that's what BGHW has in this game. They've got Alanese, and they've also got Nicholas Klimas, and both of them have nearly identical goals against averages, with Klimas at 1.63, and as you said, Alanese at 1.66. That could be the difference for an entire season, is having steady goaltending in net there.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, right? When you've got two goalies with goals against of 1.6, who do you start? That one's blockered away by Alanese off the stick of Aleve. Back to play it are the IceCats, throwing up the far wall. That's deflected up into the Libertyville bench. A minute 15 gone by here in period one. The IceCats play up in Vernon Hills. That's where we're going to be tomorrow. So we go from the high school students today. We go from the big kids today. Tomorrow, the little kids will take center ice. We do mite hockey all day tomorrow. That's thrown out in front, knocked away. Elliot Hillback back to the point. That shot deflected through with a high stick. That'll be played down. So yeah, tomorrow, our cameraman Bob Mariner is going to be on the mic with me as we'll be up at Glacier Ice Arena for 13 mite hockey games tomorrow. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll have 6 games on one rink, 7 on another. I love full days of hockey. The only thing better than hockey is more hockey. So
when you go to an ice rink, you order up as much hockey as they can possibly give you for the day.
If I'm going to be there, I may as well watch as much hockey as I possibly can. And with the season ending, soon for a lot of these kids, there's a shot and a save made by Anderson, first shot of the game for BGHW. The hockey season, at least the amateur hockey season, coming to an end here in the next month or so. You want to get as much of it in as you can. Oh, that's a tough icing, as that one just has the legs to reach the end line. So exactly 2 minutes gone by here in the period. Draw will come down into the IceCats defensive zone to the right of Carter Anderson. You talk about good goaltending. I mean, Carter Anderson gave you a save percentage north of 900, goals against of 2.5. The issue, if you look at Libertyville's roster, you look at their stats, the problem is the goal scoring. Hayden Minsky put up some huge numbers, 16 goals, 14 assists, but nobody else with more than 6 goals on the team. So not a lot of goal scoring for this Libertyville team, as that one's thrown through by Christopher.
And like you said, Aaron, it might be a simple formula for BGHW in this game to limit goal scoring, is if you can limit Minsky, like you said, that is a large chunk of their offensive output this season.
It's off the back of the nets, played by Matthew Schoof. Kept in near point, Dominic Pisoli. Shoveled back into the corner. Now Aiden Gogarty behind the net, flips it onto the forehand. Back to the point. Dumped in. I think that's Reed Gergertz down there, number 21. He's on our roster as number 13. Has the puck here. Or excuse me, that's Carangella. That's 24, not 21. Shot through. What a save by Anderson on the far post. Shot hammered wide by Pisoli. And the net's off its pegs. First great opportunity for the Stampede, but Carter Anderson pushing himself to that far post and keeping it scoreless.
We saw this play a factor the last game that we did, that the net coming out of its creases a couple times. We'll see if that's an issue in this game as well.
It's shoveled behind the nets. They hit hard there. Jake Forsberg putting the shoulder in. Shot pass Aleve. There is Minsky. Back to the point. Near corner, kept in by Mazza. Mazza tries to drive the net, tries to tuck, and that was good defense by Mason Birkenhotter, and Alan Ease holding the post. Now Ronkowski will dump and go for a change. Alieve backhanding it up to Liam Rudo, and Rudo put himself in offsides. Shots are 4-1, 10:47 left to go, first period, still no score. Couple good shifts by the IceCats here, and that's how you do it, right? Shift by shift. You try to stay in the game that way.
And that's a good way of looking at it too, against the top-seeded Stampede here. You can't eat your dinner in one bite, right? You got to take it chunk at a time.
How to eat an elephant one bite at a time?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's, you know,
I haven't eaten too many myself.
No,
Aaron.
but that's how you would do it. But I mean, I think that's the point, right? The longer you can keep this thing scoreless, the longer you can keep it close, the more likely a funny bounce or a deflected puck makes a big difference.
And if the Stampede feel like they need to start pressing, that's when mistakes can materialize.
Elliott Hill back on the draw for the IceCats. It's won cleanly by BGHW, and Pisoli up the wall, deflected out by Ben Rausch, but that'll be an icing. We have 4 games. Not a doubleheader, not a tripleheader, a quad header, I guess, as we had Glenn Bard and D200, D204, the Warriors on the rink behind us. In the 4 o'clock game, that game was won by the Warriors. The winner of that game will play the winner of the 7-seed Chicago North and the 2-seed Maine, which is going on the rink behind us. And then prior to this, we had Plainfield, the number 5 seed, taking down the 4-seed Prep. And Alan Ease catches it in the belly, and the winner of that game will play the winner of this one.
And we're fortunate today to be here at the beautiful Rosemont Ice Arena.
Yes.
It's my wonderful facility.
It's my second time in this rink. My first time was back in September, before the rink was done, I guess is probably the best way to put it. There were no advertisements up. There was nothing signifying the Chicago Wolves. The beautiful restaurant behind us was not even open yet. None of the power worked.
Still smelled like construction.
It did.
I'm sure.
It smelled like sawdust. It had that sawdust smell for sure. But you know, 6 months later, and it's a gorgeous facility, the practice facility of the Chicago Wolves that slid through the paint. Kept in at the near point. Shot in by Aiden Gogarty is deflected away. Now behind the net, trying to center it, looking for Gogarty. Stampede continue to possess in the near corner. That's Christopher. Hops up behind the net where Matthew Schuth will bang it out, and I don't think that one's going to have the legs. Oof. That's another tough icing. There have now been a couple of pucks that have crept across that red line, and that will be ruled icing. So a face-off to the left now of Carter Anderson, who's helmetless for the time being. Now it's back on. The draw will come to his left. Forsberg for BGHW and Rutzel for the IceCats. Won by Rutzel. He'll flip it up. That'll come to center ice. Far half wall. IceCats scale it around the near wall. James Anderson. Kicked into the corner. Good stick work there, knocking it away from Carangella. Now back to the near point. Shot through by Ryan Antonucci. I think maybe Anderson got his blocker on that a little. Ronkowski back down the wall. Good cycle job here by the Stampede, but the IceCats get it up into the skates of James Anderson. It's banged in behind Alan Ease. Thrown the length of the ice. I don't think Carangella's going to have the speed to get there. He won't. That'll be an icing on the BGHW Stampede. 3 players on this Stampede roster with more than 10 goals rather. Christopher with 22, Ronkowski 11, Reed Gergertz with 12. Just Hayden Minsky with more than 10 for Libertyville. He had 16 goals, 14 assists for 30 points. But a sneaky stat. Well, I love looking at stats when you don't get to watch the teams every day, and you have to kind of figure things out by looking at the numbers. If Libertyville goes on the power play, Matthew Schuth has 6 goals on the year. 5 of them have come with the man advantage. So sneaky danger on the power play.
He'll be the man to look out for
Matthew
sure.
Schuth. Pasoli back in his own zone. We'll go D to D, find Cullen Jones. Jones gains the red line, throws it in midway through period 1. Christopher over far side, Schuth up the wall. Kept in over there by Jones behind the net. Thrown out in front and out to center ice.
Another one of those sneaky stats there for you, Aaron, is if the Cats were to go on the power play here in this game for BGHW, Cameron Christopher and Ethan Yee each have a couple shorthanded goals on the year as well. So scoring could be a foot all around. And here we have the puck sent in that's handled.
Yeah, that's the one player you don't want to have breaking loose there is Cameron Christopher. So good defensive work by the IceCats. Puck almost given away, but it does come out to center ice. Minsky. It's thrown back in. IceCats have it, scale it up off the wall. That hits a couple of Stampede players on the way down, so no icing. Birkencotter to Nicholas Antonucci, back to Birkencotter, up the wall and out. Ethan Yee. Yee, drop pass. It's a dangerous drop pass, but he gets away with it. Gergertz now in the corner. Back to Selleck at the point. Selleck D to D. Ryan Antonucci through a screen. That breaks through Anderson, goes just wide of the near post. Back to Antonucci at the point. Another shot through some traffic. Anderson gets taken down outside the crease. He's scrambling to get to his feet, and we're going to get a stoppage as Anderson went down. And protecting the goalie is a good thing. Anderson gets knocked down, and you stop the game right there. And I think we're going to have a penalty here on, is Ethan Yee going to the box? No, he's not. He's going back to his bench. But going back to that play by Ethan Yee, a blind drop pass at the blue line, that a lot of times can lead to a breakaway the other way. He got very fortunate that the IceCats weren't able to play it cleanly.
Yeah, especially when you have a defender there that you might not be seeing there, like you said, could lead to a one-on-one opportunity.
It's cleared in. IceCats deflected into the Stampede bench is Peter Rappa. Not able to play the puck cleanly. Good stick work by BGHW. So face off in the neutral zone, 6 minutes left in period number 1. Oliver Wisniewski for the Stampede. Throw it forward, he'll take a hit from Matthew Schuth, and Noah Schkapp will circle his net, cut to his left with some speed up through the neutral zone now. Schkapp into the attacking zone, throws it in on Alan Ease. And that's gonna be a hand pass in the offensive zone. There was something poetic about watching Schkapp come up ice there. I caught him and I saw his jersey fluttering as he was skating up ice, and it just, I mean, hockey's such a great sport, man.
It really is.
Face off in the neutral zone, 5:26 left in the first period. The 9 and the 1 scoreless. Pasoli turns his net. It's cut off and it's shoveled to center ice. Now a 2-on-1, Carangella and Forsberg. Forsberg's shot, and that's a good stick by Noah Schkapp, breaking up the 2-on-1 and deflecting the puck into the net.
Yeah, what other sport, Aaron, do you have an objective that is hard enough on its own, you know, get the object into the net, but now we'll put you on ice skates as well.
Yeah, right.
Going 20 miles an hour.
Puck below the red line, comes out by the near point, and over to grab it is Liam Rudo. Comes back to the far point where it's kept in by Cullen Jones. Ice Cats, which I almost called them the Ice Dogs. That's I've spent the last 5 years calling Vernon Hills Ice Dogs games, their youth hockey program. So it's gonna happen before the game's over at some point. It's Malicki with it. Now Miller gets bumped into, taken by Pasoli. Pasoli chips it far side. Puck squirts out by the red line. It's taken by Pasoli. Tries the aerial pass, trying to hit Ronkowski. Now a 2-on-1 potentially. Drop pass looking for Minsky, gets bumped as Libertyville almost caught the Stampede in a change, and that came out of the zone. And it's not icing, or it's not offsides, as Ronkowski comes down 1-on-2 and just sitting in the paint looking for a call, doesn't get one. Selleck. Antonucci has to wait for Ronkowski to clear the zone, and by the time he does, Libertyville chops it into the neutral zone. .340 left, still no score. Aliv has got Minsky with him. Aliv throws it off the back of the end boards, rather. It bounces back out to Alanese, who tracks it and covers up. Draw to the left of Ronan Alanese. It'll be Hayden Minsky. It's won, however, by the Stampede. Now Costanza fires it in. Mazza gets ridden off the puck. It's still swept in by Minsky. Slowed down, and Antonucci will pick it up. Scap caught it. The linesman right there next to him looked behind him for the puck, but Scap caught it with his mitt, but he was offsides. .310 left first period, still no score.
You've got to imagine that BGHW looking around wondering, hey, we got an 8-1 win.
Yep.
Our last game out, where's the offense going to be coming from?
A big win in there, a win over the number 16 seed, D203. Well, the IceCats have done a pretty good job keeping the Stampede to the outside. There's been, they had 1 or 2 solid opportunities a few minutes ago, but if you're the IceCats, got to be pretty happy about the way first period's going. And if you're the Stampede, you're probably pretty happy too, as you've had the better of the play, the better of the chances. But
and they Libertyville, the IceCats here, they haven't been putting Carter Anderson in too much of a bad position here as well. He's been able to make a few saves.
James Anderson tries to center it, but that's deflected away. Reed Gergert's now 3-on-2. He's got Ethan Yee. Yee goes off sides. Pasoli is forced to just throw it in. Now Scap behind his own net. Scap up to Rappa. Rappa will gain the red line, gain the blue line, and fire it opposite corner where Sawyer Miller will go after it for Libertyville. Gets pinned up against the wall by Birkencotter. Now 3 gray jerseys, 2 blue jerseys. Miller walks out of the corner with it, gets hit hard there by Aiden Gogarty. Separates him from the puck, kept in for the moment. And bounces wide of Alanese. Now backhanded up the wall, doesn't make it very far. Again, 5 skaters down there right in front of us. Malicki comes off his stick and rolls out to center ice. His line mates will touch up, he'll dump and go after it. Costanza throwing it forward for Christopher. Christopher cut off nicely by Aliv. Now Schuth. Mazza. Almost had Schuth breaking in there. Self-pass. Costanza gets away from a couple of hits, and he'll flip it into the mitt of Anderson, who will leave it. Minsky, one touch Mazza. Mazza drives around, Mazza all the way through and not able to control the puck, bangs his stick on the ice. That was a gorgeous move by Michael Mazza. Did everything but finish. And we'll get a face-off.
And that would have been a very impressive finish, especially as he was falling down into Alaniz there.
Draw will come to the right of Ronan Alaniz, who stopped 4 out of 4 to our right. Down to our left, Carter Anderson has stopped all 9 shots he's faced here in the first period.
And for Anderson with Libertyville, as the game goes on, building more and more confidence with these saves as well. As the number increases, the more comfortable he feels in this game, the better output he can give.
Pasoli, long outlet pass Carangella. Carangella one-on-one, backhand is deflected by Schuth. Carangella cycles it deep. Gronkowski gets knocked down. And Libertyville pokes it to center as we're down to 25 seconds left in the period. Pasoli gaining the blue line, gets around Schkapp, throws it out front, and Carter Anderson quick with the glove. 16 seconds left, no score. Gogarty will take the face-off for the Stampede. Wins it cleanly. Pasoli's shot deflects opposite corner. Backhanded along the far half wall with 6 seconds left. Now back up the wall, and the IceCats throw it the length of the ice. And that will do it for the first 15. No score here between the number 1 seed and the number 9. This broadcast is proudly produced by Shellen Sports Media. We specialize in bringing high school and local sports to life with professional live streaming, custom graphics, and complete game coverage. Our mission is simple: showcase student athletes, support the communities, and make every game accessible for fans and family everywhere. Scan the QR code for more information. Shellen Sports Media, supporting local sports, one game at a time. The second period about to get started here from Rosemont. No score between the 9-seed Libertyville IceCats and the top seed BGHW Stampede. And said this as the period was coming to an end, Matt. I think both teams are probably pretty happy with the way things went. If you're Libertyville, you kept the Stampede off the boards, or off the scoreboard. You didn't get outplayed terribly. If you're BGHW, you did control the pace of play. You had the better of the opportunities. I think both teams are happy with the way things went, as Mazza and Cameron Christopher are getting into each other. They caused both of their centermen to get tossed from the dot, and we are finally underway.
Yeah, I think if you're Libertyville, you're definitely very happy with this going into the second period.
Yep.
No score here, and like you said, for the Stampede, they've controlled it. They've got 10 shots on goal here, and they probably figure it's only a matter of time before the floodgate opens.
Period of the long shifts, that is something to keep in mind. As Libertyville going right to left now, BGHW left to right, is Gogarty doing a good job on the forecheck in the neutral zone. It's cleared in by William Selleck. Up the wall, and that'll come out. Back to Antonucci. Antonucci up through center onto the stick of Schuth. Schuth to Schkapp. Now Costanza. Christopher. Good stick work there by Schkapp to take it away. Schkapp now with Minsky. 2-on-2, the shot through. Alanese watches it into the corner. It's deflected now opposite corner. Long outlet pass, Mazza. Mazza tries to stick handle again, has it on the backhand, throws it in on Alanese, and Alanese didn't know where it was. And you get some pushing and shoving here afterwards, but I have no problem with what Libertyville did there. The official didn't blow the whistle, and you are taught to play until you hear that whistle. So jam into the pads of the goalie and see if you can shove it home. But
especially when Alanese is looking around saying, hey, where's the puck? He's looking around looking for it just as well. So you hear no whistle, goalie looks confused, try and jab it home.
Yeah, when the goalie doesn't know where it is, that's a sign to keep whacking until you're told not to. Avoiding the hits is Carangella. Now the Stampede have it. They'll clear it in. Minsky gets it to Hillback, who's able to clear it to center, but thrown right back in. Gronkowski, the first one on it for the Stampede. He gets pinned in the corner, though. Big hit there by Forsberg on Hillback. Almost a giveaway there. That's off the back of Forsberg's legs. Now BGHW. Knock it down in their own zone. Pisoli circles his net. Carangella slides it up the near wall, but it's played by Schuth. Matthew Schuth drops it opposite corner. Nobody there, though, but Ethan Yee. Yee gets bumped. Pisoli steps around the defender. Now goes D to D. Jones. That hits a skate and bounces back to the blue line. Schuth doing a nice job there, taking down one of the Stampede skaters behind the net. That was Ben Rausch. And this one's cleared the length of the ice, and that'll be an icing. 12:05 left to go, second period, still no score here from Rosemont. On the rink behind us, we have the number 7 seed, Chicago North, taking on the number 2 seed, Maine Township. And right now, Chicago North is up 1-0. Could be 2-0. Somebody just scored over there. But the 7 seed right now leading the 2 seed on the rink behind us, looking for the upset. Looking for an upset here as well. Mazza in, and he forces Alanese into the goal, and it's waved off. You got a collision in the paint between Mazza and the goaltender. Mazza pushed Alanese into the net, and the IceCats were celebrating. The referee behind the net waved it off, and I think it's going to stay. Is it going to stay no goal, or are they going to get together and talk about this?
And what was that for, Aaron? Was that just because the net came out of its crease?
The net came off its pegs for sure. But I mean, you're not allowed to run into the goalie and push him into the net. Like that's I don't know if you remember. I'm gonna date myself here, but the original NHL '93 hockey game, like that was how you scored your goal. You just ran into the goalie and jammed the puck into the net.
I don't think that dates you at all, Aaron.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I was in high school when that came out. Yeah, and. You can't do that in the real game. So they're all the referees, the linesmen are huddling here, but immediately waved off by that linesman behind the goal. And that's usually the one that that has the best angle. That's usually the one that has the best view of it. So they're still talking about it. Got 11:53 left in the second.
If they'd like, they can come take a look at the footage we got from our wonderful Bob Mariner.
We could roll it back a little bit. Yeah. We call him Big Shot Bob for a reason, folks.
Let the boys down on the ice know we got Big Shot Bob on.
That's right.
On the camera call here.
That's right.
I think whoever's in charge of the music is getting a little fed up with this.
They're going to call it a goal. It's a goal for the IceCats. Michael, I believe it's going to go to Michael Mazza, who was the one who charged the net. We'll get confirmation on that here in just a minute. But either way, the 9th seed IceCats take a 1-0 lead over the top seed Stampede. And BGHW, the coach, is obviously not happy about that. But all 4 referees got together. They made the decision. And the IceCats are up 1-0. We're waiting for the official sign on the ice. Once that goal is updated, we'll know who got credit for it. But IceCats don't care who got credit for it. They're up 1-0. I believe it was Michael Mazza. He was the one who took that initial move, and he was the one who charged the net. Having a long conversation now with the BGHW coaching staff. And you see the IceCats standing there talking, and that energy level, that momentum right now all on the side of the blue and orange as they are up 1-0. And they do finally put it up on the board. 1-0 IceCats. 3 minutes gone by here in the second period. Now they're having a discussion with the IceCats coaching staff.
It was Hayden Minsky.
So it was Hayden Minsky who was the one who jammed it. And it was Mazza who made the play. Mazza was the one who jumped through.
They just changed it. It was Mazza.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, they just changed it to Mazza.
Okay, all right. So my eyes weren't failing me. There was 1-1 instead of 2 1s. Mazza wears 1, Minsky wears 11. So maybe somebody thought they were seeing, maybe somebody was seeing double.
That's probably exactly
They saw
what it
the
was.
1 and thought it was 11. And here's Schuth. Schuth, top of the near circle. His shot is stick down. See if the IceCats now play with a little bit more jump in their step as they take a 1-0 lead.
This has been a pattern that we've seen across several games now, that once, especially when it's low scoring in that first period, once one goal happens, it's a lot of pressure on both teams to either continue piling on if you were the team that scored the goal, or to make sure that that momentum does not swing too far.
Yeah, if you're the IceCats, though, you don't want to do anything different, right? Keep playing the game that got you to this 1-0 lead here. Don't take any unnecessary chances just because you have the lead. This is a very good team, and this guy right here is the best player on the ice, number 9 and Cameron Christopher. So don't let your guard down if you're the IceCats. And if you're BGHW, it's just one. It's just one, and you could call it a fluke as well, as Alan Ease was kind of shoved into the net. But I guess they're saying the puck crossed the line before the contact was made.
And that's a difficult thing to do if you're the Stampede, but it's also very important to stay focused and make sure that, as frustrating as that is when a call or a play doesn't go your way, to not start pressing and not let the frustration build into mistakes.
The puck will bounce off the stick of Pasoli and come out to center ice. Cullen Jones now goes opposite corner. Malicki will lose the puck. Pass out in front, shot, score! Carmi Carangella ties it at 1 on the feed from Jake Forsberg. Well, that didn't take long.
No, I was just about to say, sometimes that is how it goes, where you're playing a little bit of back and forth, a defensive heavy game, and then once you get down by 1, if you're the Stampede, you say, okay, time to put it on, time to start putting the puck on net there, and they're able to get one.
Carangella with 4 goals on the regular season. Carmen picks one up here in the postseason. And it's 1-1. Well, we're right back where we were when the period started.
One thing to keep in mind as well, something that also might factor in the further into this game we get, at any given time, the Libertyville bench only has 8 players, whereas the Stampede have 14 players on their bench. So seeing if fatigue plays any role in here as depth is a little bit different for each of these teams.
I would think if maybe the game was a little bit more higher speed, a little bit more back and forth, but
for now it's fine. We'll see how it goes later on.
Pisoli to Jones. Jones tries to flip it through Rappa and can't. Cleared back in by Rutzel, but he didn't have the red line, so that'll be an icing. So on the rink behind us, Chicago North, Main Township. Chicago North with a 1-0 lead going to the third period over there. So the 7 seed leading the 2 seed on the rink behind us. Here it's 1-1 between the 9 and the 1. Selleck keeps it in near points. Schuth. Far corner Forsberg, back to the points. Antonucci. And that's scooped up by Carter Anderson as Jake Forsberg was lurking out in front. Swept the length of the ice, and it's going to be another icing. Shots are 12-8 right now in favor of the Stampede. 1-1 the score. Libertyville goal, Michael Mazza. For BGHW, Carmen Carangella. Mazza 6 goals, 7 assists in 18 games during the regular season. Team's second leading scorer.
Only 4 goals for Carangella in the regular season. 7 assists, though.
And we saw that in the last game, right? We had 3 players for the Plainfield Predators who had multiple goals, and one of them was their leading scorer, but the other 2, they had one player who had scored 3 goals during the regular season, scored 2 in the game today. So it's not always your superstars that are going to win games for you in the postseason. Schkapp into the skates of Leave, then will come out to center, and Minsky gets bumped. Mazza now. Mazza shot ramped high up into the screen. Those 2 are dangerous. Mazza and Minsky, they have provided the majority of the offense for the IceCats here today. Winner of this game will play the Plainfield Predators tomorrow night, 7:45 out in Rolling Meadows. And then the winner of that game will play on Friday, March 6th at 6 p.m. at Allstate for the combined varsity championship. Squirts to center. Allows BGHW to possess. Carangella gets knocked down, and it'll be an icing, as Ronkowski not able to get there in time. 8:07 left to go middle frame. And what's become a choppy second period. A lot of whistles, a lot of icings, a lot of offsides. But I think that probably benefits the IceCats.
Oh, for sure.
You know, a game that doesn't have a lot of back and forth, a lot of rhythm.
If you're able to keep the Stampede out of having any type of consistent flow either which way, that's a win.
Get another icing here. Yeah, and I think if you're the IceCats, you're okay with this, especially when the faceoffs are coming down into the BGHW defensive side of things. You can win a faceoff cleanly, get a couple of good looks. Elliot Hillback will take the faceoff against Jake Forsberg. It's won by Forsberg, and Carangella just walks forward with it. Avoiding the hit was Sawyer Miller. Now Schkapp out to center ice with it. Schkapp into the attacking zone, throws it in on Alanese, and Liam Rudo was there in case Alanese allowed a rebound. He did not, and we get another whistle.
And like you said, Aaron, having all of these faceoffs in the Stampede defensive end is exactly what the IceCats need. the more opportunities they can to start from scratch in their own attack zone, they'll take it.
Yeah, you can't give up a goal 200 feet from your, you can't give up a goal 200 feet from your own ice. If you're the IceCats, this is what you want here. And the draw will come to the right of Allen Ease, who stopped 8 of 9 today. Carter Anderson, 11 out of 12. Another clean face-off win, but if you're the IceCats, you got to start winning some draws in the attacking zone. BGHW's done a really good job on the face-offs here so far this evening, as that one's air-mailed out to center ice, bounces over the stick of Schkapp. And Reed Gergertz will bother Schkapp behind the net. Schkapp off the boards and out. And that was deflected snow icing. Pisoli behind his net. Turn up ice. Feeds Roush. Roush across to Yee. And Gergertz was offsides. The puck was sticked up into the netting anyway, but Ethan Yee was offside, so we'll have a neutral zone faceoff. And these last 2 minutes feel like they've taken 15 with the number of whistles we've had.
Feels like the final couple minutes of a basketball game.
Like a basketball. Yep, you are not wrong. Ronkowski wins the draw. Rutzel just as far as the blue line. Now he'll get another chance. Dump it opposite corner. James Anderson over on the forecheck. Chipped up the half wall. Kept in at the far points by the IceCats. That hits the dasher and it's deflected into the neutral zone, where Malicki will play it. Malicki has to turn and throw it opposite corner. James Anderson up the wall, kept in there by Selleck. Selleck throws it in on Anderson, who directs it into the corner. Gogarty behind the nets. Now Christopher. IceCats have done a good job so far against Cameron Christopher. Still a long way to go, but you got to be happy with the way you've defended number 9 so far. Now Holtzy behind the nets. He gets run off the puck, still has it. Sweeps it with one hand to keep it in, opposite corner. That'll come out to Christopher at center ice. Christopher avoids the hit. Schkapp goes opposite corner. Mazza spins it towards the goal. Stampede, Antonucci one-hands it up the wall and out. Cleared in, Mazza has to touch up. That lets the Stampede possess it with 5:15 left. Kept in over there for the moment. Minsky, ooh, puck rolls off his stick. Nice feed from Mazza. Schkapp now. Up the middle, Minsky. Minsky tips it in. It's flipped back out to center where Schkapp. Minsky deflects. Back up the wall, now Ronkowski. Ronkowski driving the net. Not able to twist those wrists and tuck it in the near post. Now Ronkowski tries to go down to one knee on the one-timer, doesn't know where it is. Back to the point, Jones shot, the deflection, the score! I think that was Carangella again. This time the deflection puts the Stampede up 2-1.
That was just a masterful stick right in front to deflect it down and in.
Yep, that will be Carmen Carangella, his second goal of the game. Only 4 during the regular season, 2 here today. And the Stampede have taken the lead. It's 2-1. That shot from Cullen Jones from the point. And you said it, a masterful stick by Carangella. So the IceCats took a 1-0 lead. Last 2 have been Stampede goals to take the lead.
And like we said earlier, doubling up that regular season goal total, going from 4 now to 2 here in this game. big-time players for you in the postseason. They'll step up and make those plays for you and know where they have to be, especially in key, opportune scoring situations.
Obviously, you love it when your best players are your best players in the postseason, but you need those other guys to make an impact. And you know, we've talked about goalies all year long, about how a hot goalie can take you a long way in the postseason, but a lot of times you mention it, it's those unsung guys, the guys who aren't at the top of the stat sheet, who step up, and they're the heroes for you.
Well, like you said, the IceCats, they've made a conscious effort to keep Cameron out of the game here.
Cameron Christopher, they've done a good job.
Him out of the game.
They've done a good job on Cameron Christopher, so somebody else needs to step up for the IceCats. Now potential 2-on-1. Rappa top of the near circle. Rappa shoots. The save is made by Alanese. Rappa with all sorts of space, but Alanese made himself big, and now Cullen Jones the other way for the Stampede. Jones dumps and chases. He'll go after it with Carangelo, who's already got a pair. Kirk Rutzel. Pair of 23s going at it. Rutzel and Ronkowski. Somebody's missing a stick. I think it's Ronkowski. Cleared up the wall and not out. Stampede keep it in. Ronkowski bangs it deep. Carangella behind the net. Centering feed deflects out to center ice. Now we got a race for the puck. Long strides. Dominic Pisoli, the first one on it. Slings it back around near wall. 2:43 left. Rutzel does a nice job keeping it. The point. Mazza tries to hit Rappa but couldn't. Carangella out to Ronkowski, the one-timer from center ice. Bounces wide of Carter Anderson. Long home run pass, nobody on the other end of it. Ryan Antonucci now for BGHW. Carangella deflects it in. Schkapp will go and get it for the IceCats. Schkapp up the far wall, centering feed. Holsche takes it there. And that comes out to center for Sabir Aliv. Aliv has got Minsky on his left. Aliv's shot, the save is made by Alanese with 2:04 left.
And if you're the IceCats here, you'd like to see more of that, obviously. You'd like to see more shots going on goal here, but just trying to do whatever you can to get the momentum back. That was an odd little back and forth exchange right there in the middle of this period where each team scored, and now trying to get back on track.
I think if you're the IceCats, you're still comfortable with where you are in this game. It's just a one-goal game as that deflects into the IceCats bench. I think you're comfortable with the way things are because a one-goal game is a funny bounce. A one-goal game is a puck that deflects off a leg or deflects off a stick. And if you're the Stampede, the offense has started to turn it on here a little bit over the last 5 or 6 minutes. So I imagine neither team is super frustrated with the way things are going. Both teams probably pretty satisfied right now. Obviously the Stampede a little bit more so than the IceCats since they're leading, but it's been a good one so far.
Yeah, even still a very hard-fought game back and forth here. And, you know, that's the chess match of hockey, is knowing how to continue to keep playing your own game while finding the right opportunity to attack.
Potential 2-on-1, gets caught up in the stick of Schkapp. Ethan Yee shovels it forward. Gergert's behind the net. Gergert's turns the net, cycles it deep. Rausch now below the goal line. Rausch bothered by Minsky, and that lets Schuth come over and play it. Schuth up the wall. Selleck winds up the deflection. That puck is loose in the paint, and Ethan Yee taps home the rebound to give BGHW a 3-1 lead. First two saves made by Carter Anderson. That second save off the left pad came right to Ethan Yee, who didn't miss.
And that's something that the IceCats have been doing a very good job of earlier in the game, is making sure once those shots were deflected in front and stopped right there, they're able to clear it out. And that one, the puck just lingered around too long.
Yep. You mentioned it. They've done a great job keeping the traffic in front of Carter Anderson pretty minimal, but a couple of shots, a couple of saves by Anderson, and Ethan Yee was able to finish. So now Stampede in some control here as Christopher puts the body into Holtze. Up the wall, Miller keeps it in with his fist. And Rudo throws it in behind. Alanese taken here by Jones, Cullen Jones. Bouncing puck. Malicki. Wisniewski. Christopher spins away from the hit. Pisoli at the point. Pisoli through a screen. The save is made by Carter Anderson with Christopher right there on the doorstep. Pisoli throws it around the boards. Christopher. Hard turn. Christopher shoots off the shoulder of Anderson up into the screen, and that's the first time today that we've really seen Cameron Christopher get free. And that was a tight little move over by that far circle, Matt, to get himself free and get himself the space and forced Anderson to make a tough save.
And as you said, the IceCats have been doing a fantastic job of limiting him and his opportunities throughout the game. One of the first ones we've really seen so far. And you know, if that breaks down for the IceCats, they're in even more trouble than they already are. If Cameron Christopher is able to get loose and be himself.
And BGHW beat the IceCats twice this year, 4-1 and 6-1. Here's Rudo one-on-one with Pisoli. Pisoli does a nice job running him off, and that will do it for the second period. So the IceCats score first, but the Stampede answer with 3 of their own. And we will go to the ice scrape with the top seed BGHW Stampede leading the 9th seed Libertyville IceCats 3-1. Matt, Bob, and myself are going to step aside for just a couple of minutes, and we'll be back with third period action. This is the AHAI Combined Varsity State Tournament on Shellen Sports Media. Welcome back for third period action. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Shellen Sports Media. If you're looking to live stream your school or league events with professional quality production, Shellen Sports Media has you covered. We offer full game broadcasting, custom graphics, replays, and play-by-play coverage for hockey, football, baseball, basketball, and more. Give your athletes and your fans and families the big game experience. Scan the QR code on your screen now for more information. 15 minutes to go here from Rosemont, and there is an upset brewing on the rink behind us. Under 4 minutes remaining over on the East Rink here at Rosemont, and the 7 seed North Central with a 2-1 lead over Maine Township now with under 2 minutes left to go. Here BGHW turned things on in the second half of the second period. They were down 1-0. They are now up 3-1 and in control of this hockey game. Costanza to Christopher. Christopher gets cut off behind the net. Big hit there by Minsky, knocking down Costanza hard. And that puck will come out to center ice. Now a leave with some speed, top of the near circle. Good stick work by BGHW there. And there's a big hit in the corner. And I think the Stampede are going to be short-handed here. A couple of hits by the Stampede. Hayden Minsky gets taken down hard. And it'll be Gogarty going to the penalty box. Aiden Gogarty going to the box. 41 seconds into the third period, so a chance here for the IceCats to crawl back into it.
You know, outside of the final few minutes of that second period, Aaron, the IceCats have been doing a really good job of maintaining some stride for stride evenness with the Stampede in a lot of ways, and got away from them there at the end of the second, giving up a couple goals, but you know, they've been holding their own pretty well.
We talked about this power play. Matthew Schuth with 5 power play goals. Minsky, the shot off the blocker of Alan Ease, kept in at the far point. Now Minsky taps it deep. A leave, cycles it, but there's nobody on the other side. That's cleared up, and on this fresh ice will come all the way out to center. A leave. Scap. Minsky, stick handles into the attacking zone. Minsky, half wall, drives the net with Jones on his back. Cullen Jones takes the puck away, kicks it forward. Mazza in the corner. It's dug out by Dominic Pisoli. Pisoli 1-on-2 as his stick lifted, then gets cut off. Now Scap, Noah Scap tries to drive through the defense, can't, kept in by Miller. That ends up on the stick of Carangella, who will throw it the length of the ice. He's got 2 of the 3 BGHW goals here this afternoon. Miller. Hillback can't get the shot through. He'll fall down as Selleck will play the puck. It throws it off the body of Carangella, and Carmen finishes it off, clearing it the rest of the way. 28 seconds left on the power play.
And we've talked about the lethality of Matthew Schuth on the power play, but watch out for the Stampedes. Cameron Christopher as well as Ethan Yee, both of them having a couple shorthanded goals on the season for the Stampede. So clearly a good
PK,
opportunity makers, yeah, on the penalty.
The power play's about up though, just 6 seconds left. Hillback. Drops it from Miller. Miller from Malicki. Malicki back to Miller. It bounces over his stick and now gives Christopher a chance. Christopher top of the near circle. Christopher dangles. The shot is deflected on the way through and came back, and Anderson was able to make the save. There was a wide open goal on that far side, but Reed Gergerts had his stick checked as he tried the one-timer, and it rolled back in to Carter, who was able to cover up.
Yeah, Christopher's handles had gotten Carter all the way out to his right side of the post there. Left it wide open, but that stick just kept the puck from going in.
Gogarty. And comes in on Anderson. He's forced to cover up. Shots are 20-10 in favor of the Stampede. 2 goals by Carmen Carangella, Ethan Yee with the 3rd. Michael Mazza with the only goal of the game for the IceCats. Gogarty on the face-off, and the IceCats are changing out their D pairing. They had 7 skaters out there for a minute, and that'll get Minsky thrown out of the circle. Schkapp double team, but Minsky now up the near wall. Minsky has his pocket picked by Christopher. Christopher out in front. The shot by Costanza deflects wide. That comes out to the neutral zone. Cullen Jones goes back and gets it. Jones to Pasoli. Pasoli throws it the length of the ice. Icing waved off. Schuth with 11.5 left. Schuth gives it away to Costanza. Costanza off the side of the net. The puck's thrown out in front. Hops into the near corner. Behind the nets. That was Costanza, and the net came off its pegs with 11:20 left. We've seen that net to our left come off its pegs a handful of times today.
Yeah, both nets throughout today have been a bit of a liability in terms of staying where they need to be. Most of the time, the refs can just adjust it, but...
No, Maine Township scores with 21 seconds left.
Wow.
To tie the game at 2 against Chicago North on the rink behind us. So they might be getting some additional free hockey over there on the East Rink.
We love it, don't we, Aaron?
I love free hockey. As I said earlier in the game, the only thing better than hockey is more hockey.
And the only thing better than more hockey is more free hockey.
Over time, there is, you know, I'm a baseball guy at heart, right? Like, that's what I do all summer. And actually, about half a mile from here is where I spend my summers calling games for the Chicago Dogs. But to me, there is nothing better than playoff hockey. You know, the tension of a playoff hockey game is second to none.
Well, that's what I thought you were referring to earlier when you said the Ice Dogs. I thought you were just combining hockey and then the Chicago Dogs.
No, the Vernon Hills youth travel hockey team are the Ice Dogs. And we'll be there all day tomorrow.
Hey, you've got a fun, long day lined up for you tomorrow.
At Glacier, first game starts at 8 a.m. Yeah, full day. Won't be quite as long as some of those days we spent at the end of January, beginning of February, doing the Central States games, but long days nonetheless. But again, I get to watch a bunch of hockey, so it's okay.
With Big Time Bob as well.
Yeah, Big Shot Bob.
Big Shot Bob.
Big Shot Bob.
Because he's getting the shots, get it?
He is, yes.
Great camera guy.
Face off to the right of Carter Anderson, 10.5 minutes left. Aiden Gogarty on the face off. Try to feed it to Christopher. The shot off the right shoulder by Ryan Costanza of Carter Anderson. Then he'll flip the center, and Antonucci goes cross ice, too far out in front of Christopher. Huge hit right in front of the penalty boxes. Hill back, and we're gonna get a retaliation penalty on Holtze, and it's always the second guy who gets caught. And Libertyville is going to be shorthanded. So we got the Foghorn in attendance. So he got taken down, did Paolo Holtze, but it's never the first guy who gets caught. It's always the second. And he got dinged there, so the IceCats are shorthanded for 2 minutes.
And he was hearing that there from his assistant coach, giving him an earful.
Yeah, don't retaliate. No reason to retaliate, especially when you have the puck in the offensive zone. It's fired off the glass, caught by Christopher. And if the Stampede are able to get one here, that could be the nail in the proverbial coffin in this one with 10 minutes left. Costanza near point. Back to Pasoli. Pasoli now Christopher. Shot from the far circle, knocked away by Anderson and cleared out by Mazza. Pasoli behind his net, he'll stop there, come out the far side. Christopher will drop it for Dominic Pasoli. Pasoli will lift it into the attacking zone, and over to get it's Matthew Schuth. Schuth up the wall. Christopher keeps it in, twists the wrists, twists it deep. Now Schkapp, it's off the back of the net. Schkapp battling with Ronkowski, and the IceCats scale it the length of the ice.
7 combined power play goals this season between Pelosi and Pisoli and Christopher.
Defenseman and the forward. You get that puck back to the point, you get some shots on, good things can happen. Here's Pisoli with it now, getting bothered by Minsky. Minsky works the puck out to the neutral zone. Christopher right back on the counterattack. Good stick handling by Christopher, but good body by Matthew Schuth to knock him off the puck, and that lets Libertyville clear it. Down to 8:40 left. Antonucci finds Forsberg. Forsberg far dot, below the goal line. Pass behind Carangello, who's forced to just bang it deep. Now Antonucci rolls away from him. Schkapp up the wall. Gergertz keeps it in at the near point. That hits Schuth in the pads, and firing it wide was, I believe that was Antonucci on the far post. And it comes out to center ice as Miller attacks. Libertyville back to full strength.
That was dangerous for the IceCats. That was caught in the, it looked like the jersey somewhat of Schuth.
Yeah, he didn't know where the puck was. Now Gergertz gets around the first body, gets cut off by the second. He's 1-on-4. Draw pass, Yee. The shot deflects wide. 7:40 left. Miller. Rudo on the forecheck. Antonucci around for Costanza. Yee taps it to center. Holtz will go back and play it, but that will be an icing with 7.5 left.
It's going to be very important for the IceCats halfway through this third period now to start applying a little bit more pressure on the Stampede. It seems like we've been living in the IceCats defensive zone for most of this period. If they want any chance of getting back in this, they killed off a penalty successfully, but they're going to have to get some offense going as well.
We have some overtime hockey going on behind us. Maine and Chicago North square at 2 in overtime. Here it's 3-1 Stampede. Puck bounces away from Malicki. He'll have to go get it in his own zone. Backhands it up, almost a giveaway. Now into the skates of Miller. Jones. Rudo backhands it into the BGHW zone where Pisoli will play it. Now Costanza has Gogarty. Gogarty throws it out in front looking for Christopher, but pass doesn't connect. And now out to the neutral zone. Miller has his pocket picked by Cameron Christopher. Christopher near circle, feathers it through. Costanza shoots, it's blocked by Malicki. Out in front, Christopher's pass to Gogarty deflects up into the rafters.
Yeah, I think that hit the ceiling.
It did hit the ceiling. We got a whistle and a stoppage with 6.5 minutes left to go in the third period. Now, I mean, if you had asked the IceCats before the game, you know, where do you think you'd be in this one if you hold Christopher off the score sheet? You think you're feeling pretty good about things, but Carmen Carangella scored just 4 goals in 22 games during the regular season, has 2 today. And Jake Forsberg gets tossed out of the circle.
And for a team that goes 18-4 in the regular season, you already know that there's going to be talent up and down that lineup. It's not just Christopher, and we've seen that on display for them.
Yep, a team that's 18-4 is usually pretty deep. It's not a one-player or a one-line team, and they're showing it here today. They're doing enough so far to beat this pesky IceCats team as that hits the corner and bounces out. Deflects wide of Anderson. Schkapp off the glass, that comes out to center. Back to get it here is Wisniewski. Wisniewski, opposite corner, Schkapp now. Goes to Schuth. Schuth gains the red line, fires it in. Rappa over to get it for the IceCats. Along the near wall, James Anderson. Anderson tries to throw it out in front, but Antonucci is waiting by the doorstep to take the puck away. Ronkowski now up to Wisniewski underneath his stick as we're down to about 5.5 minutes left. Schuth gets run into by Selleck, plays the puck around the wall. Oh, an elbow came up there by Jake Forsberg, no call.
They're going back and forth at each other.
That was a high hit by Forsberg. You saw that elbow come up, but no call. Now Mazza getting bumped by Forsberg again. Kept it at the far points. A leave. Now Forsberg in the corner. He'll turn and fire it back up the far wall. Taken here by Ronkowski. Ronkowski drives the net. Ronkowski diving through the paint, and we're going to get a penalty called on the IceCats, I believe, for hauling down Ronkowski.
And that was their only chance in stopping that goal, honestly, is physically impeding him from putting that puck in.
So 5 minutes left.
It's a good opportunity here for the Stampede to put this game even further out of reach.
Yep, 4 minutes, 58 seconds left. The IceCats kill off the entire power play. They'll have about 3 minutes left to get a couple. But you got to start taking some chances, even here while shorthanded, to try to break out and see if you can get an odd man rush going the other way. And if you're the Stampede, you just need to be cognizant of that, right? Understand that the IceCats are probably going to be taking some chances, and you don't take any chances, and see if you can end this one right here. So it's 3-1. 5 minutes left. Draw to the left of Carter Anderson, who has stopped 22 of 25. Minsky on the draw, wins it. Up the wall, kept in far point, Pisoli. Christopher far half wall. Costanza near point. Pisoli now. Christopher far dot. Christopher spins away. Pisoli through some traffic, and he scores. Dominic Pisoli, the power play goal, makes it 4-1. I don't know if that was deflected or if that just beat Anderson cleanly, but either way.
It was a beautiful wrister.
BGHW 4.5 minutes away from a trip to the semifinals.
And Pisoli strikes again.
Yeah, Pisoli's the first one out there talking to his teammates. It's usually that guy who's fist bumping the teammates first who gets credit for the goal. So I think it's going to be Pisoli's goal. 4:38 left. That didn't take long, and the Stampede are up by 3. Now Minsky. Long cross ice pass looking for Minsky, doesn't work. Now Gergert's near side. Tipped away from him. Aliv avoids the hit from Yee, and that'll come in to the seats. Heads up. Aliv and Yee sharing some words here. Saw Yee try to lean into Aliv, and Aliv was able to move away from the hit, and I think Sabir took exception to that, so we had a few words for Ethan after the whistle. Faceoff will come in the Stampede defensive zone with 4:12 left. Minsky on the draw. Winzik back to the point. Shot through some traffic off the glove of Alanese and over the net. Behind the net now, Antonucci. Nicholas Antonucci. Nicholas and Ryan out there. 11 is Nicholas digging for the puck, and he digs it out the near side. Chipped up in the air. Davis Jurger. Jurger to Holodniak. Holodniak's shot is off the blocker of Carter Anderson. Now cross ice Mazza. Michael Mazza up the far wall, the only goal scorer for the IceCats. Mazza gets his stick tied up, has it behind the net, tries to wrap around. Ooh, out in front. That was a dangerous chance for the IceCats. Sawyer Miller was right there, but couldn't get a clean stick on the puck. We got 3:14 left now. Still 2-2 going on behind us, still in overtime. The 7-seed Chicago North and the 2-seed Maine. If our game ends, I'm headed over there.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
go check out
sure.
the rest of the game before I tear down.
Definitely not something that we expected starting, what,
No.
20 minutes after them?
Yeah. Miller dumps it deep. Scap gets a little room. The shot, the puck is loose, and Rudo hammers it wide. That shot off the side of the net by Hillback. Now Birkencotter just floats it into the neutral zone. Ronkowski, Carangella. Scap gets back defensively to help break up the 2-on-1. Now Miller. Miller to Rudo. Rudo back to Miller. Miller's about out of steam. He's been out there for a while. Scap pinches. He'll take it deep. Tries to backhand it out in front and can't. Ronkowski up the wall and out. Carangella one-on-one. Now one-on-two as Ronkowski joins him. In the corner with 2:10 left.
And for the Stampede, they're just happy to live down here for a little bit, kill some time.
Cycle. Shot from the high slots. Right pad by Carter Anderson deflects it into the corner.
And the longer they're down here, the longer Anderson can't escape to the bench for that extra attacker.
We're under 2 minutes now. And Anderson way out of his nets. Now he drifts back in. Minsky. Minsky fires the shot into the belly of Ronan Alaniz, and Carter Anderson going to the bench. And I think we're going to get a timeout called here with 1:39 left. We're going to take it alongside them. BGHW 99 seconds away from a trip to the semifinals. Back here with 1:39 left. BGHW comfortably out in front. It's 4-1. Maine and Chicago North still square at 2 with about 6 minutes left to go in the first overtime on the rink behind us. If you're not here when this game ends, that game is live as well over, well, I guess here on our YouTube channel, just on our secondary stream, as that puck rolls and it's off the post. Oh, I thought that might roll into the back of the nets, but it rolls wide. Miller avoids the hits, and he flips it into the Stampede bench. No goalie for the IceCats.
We're seeing a little bit more physicality here in these final few minutes than we really have all game.
This game hasn't been nearly as physical as the last game.
No.
A lot of big hits in that last game. This has been a comfortable win as Scap. That's off the stick and kicked away by Cullen Jones. BGHW, they fell behind. but they've really been in control for, 80, 85% of this game, and they're taking care of business as the top seed. Schuth not able to get it through a tree of legs, and Cullen Jones will clear it out with 50 seconds left.
Yeah, they didn't panic after that first period of no goals scored on either side.
And then falling behind.
Yeah, and then they did fall behind for, what was it, 30 seconds?
Minsky's shot deflects wide. No, they certainly didn't panic. They played their game, and Christopher tries to throw it the length of the ice. That'll be an icing. No, it won't be. It was waved off. They're saying Schuth touched it. So down to 24 seconds. So tomorrow night in Rolling Meadows, it will be the top seed BGHW Stampede taking on the 5th seed Plainfield Predators, as the Predators beat the 4th seed Prep 7-3 earlier today. And BGHW is going to walk away with a 4-1 win here in the second half of this doubleheader on the West Rink. So it'll be the Stampede and the Predators tomorrow for a trip to go to Allstate Arena on March 6th. Carter Anderson stopped 24 out of 28, while Ronan Alanese stopped 14 out of 15. He wasn't challenged much, but he did his job. He kept the other team off the board, and for the 3rd time this season, BGHW handles the IceCats, whose season comes to an end. So a couple of good games of hockey here on the East Rink, and again, it'll be the 9th seed, or it'll be the number 1 seed BGHW Stampede against the 5th seed Plainfield Predators tomorrow night. That's going to do it here from Rosemont Ice Center. For Bob Mariner, for Matt Donnelly, my name's Aaron Schellen. This has been AHAI Combined Varsity Quarterfinal Hockey on Schellen Sports Media. Have a great rest of your nights and a great rest of your weekend, everybody.